Hello, I am Azrael Kirby, and this is my submission for Rail Heist Blindfolded. So, first of all, Rail Heist belongs to a collection of games called UFO 50, which is a collection of 50 full games created by various indie game developers, such as the creators of Spelunky and Downwell and other games as well. And it's 50 full games, so not just mini games. One of these games is called Rail Heist. In this game, you play as a trio of train robbers from like Western times, trying to steal money from various trains without getting caught and killed. I am playing the game blindfolded, meaning I'm having to rob these trains blind. So, the way this game works, again, you get to each train. This game is an immersive sim/stealth game. So again, the point is to not get caught by these guards. But there's also many solutions to each level in the game. So, in this case, I'm trying to kill this guy with a block from above. Again, there's many ways you can go about getting rid of this guy, or you can try not to kill him at all. There's so many possibilities for each level that make it a really interesting game to do blindfolded, because it just becomes a matter of creating a route to get through each level without getting seen, without getting caught. So throughout the run, you'll see a lot of different strategies that that are easy enough to do while I'm blindfolded. So one thing you can do blindfolded is a big technique called beat counting.
4, 5, 6, 7.
You may have heard me in the original. I was counting there. I was counting the music in the background, so that was like because I needed to reach that ladder without anybody seeing me, right?
1, 2, 3.
And also I had to know when I was at the ladder, because there's not an easy cue, oh, you're on top of the ladder now. So I have to make strategies to know where I am, where I think I am. So part of that involves counting to the music. So I'm like, okay, on 1, I jump to the left. On 6, I press down. And then on 7, I press left and jump to get off the ladder. And you'll see these strategies a lot throughout the run. Different types of strategies that let me do things without being able to see what's happening. Similarly to the last level, you'll see me do a beat count here in a second. So what I'm doing is I was able to break through those blocks so I can get out of here without dealing with these guards. They won't see me where I am right now. And then I can get over here and I won't have to have dealt with those guards. I also did a beat count there to make sure I jumped over the dynamite. So at the start, I jumped to the left, and on the third beat, I jumped over the dynamite. And a lot of blindfold also relies on normalized stress. Not just that, but just things that work no matter what. So you may notice that there I was running into the wall until the end of that cycle in order to make sure I was exactly where I was when the next cycle started. So there are 20 levels in this game that I need to find a way to beat blindfolded.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
That guy saw me, but only when you're in their actual line of sight will they actually shoot you. So he saw me, but he can't really get to me from where he is. Though he is somebody I might have to deal with again later. I punched him to stun him, so because while they will shoot you as soon as you're within their line of sight, there's other ways to get around that. For example, if you punch them, it'll stun them. You might also want to kill them in order to make sure that they can't shoot you anytime later, or like this case, he's in my way, so I'm just going to wait for the timer to run out, because at the end of this game runs on turns, so you have your turn and the lawman turn. So during the lawman turn, I let him go over there where I don't have to deal with them anymore, and I'm just going to go all the way to the end. And again, I'm beat counting to know when to jump. And oh, that guy sees me on the ladder, but I know, because I've done a lot of time practicing and routing, that he can't make it to me by the end of his turn, which means I can now make it straight to the goal. And that's how most of these levels go. It's like I experiment with many different things to find a route that works consistently, something that will get me to the end every single time without fail. And that's how most of this route plays out. This level's really interesting, because you're supposed to go along the right, and then go up, and then all the way to the side. I messed up there. But we can actually get straight to the end from the start. Again, it's just the open nature of this game. There's so many strategies for each level that essentially this becomes what would have been one of the longest levels in the game. It's actually one of the quickest in the game because we can just jump to the left and get up here.
10. I forgot to duck when placing down the chicken before.
Yeah, so I was able to get that done, and that. So each level, by the way, also has various stars you can achieve. There's one for doing it quickly, one when you kill every lawman, and one for killing none of the lawmen. So a pacifist award in that case. In that case, I forgot which level I was on. Part of the problem is that all the levels look the same, and so it's easy. It's hard to even in your mind differentiate them, even though you're not even looking at the game. So, yeah. So a lot of it is experimenting. It's like, okay, if I do this in this order, that'll cause the lawman to go here and here, which means they're exactly where I want them to be. Now let me do these actions to get them where I want them to be. And it's a lot of AI manipulation to make sure that these lawmen don't ever get in my way. They don't ever see me and shoot me. Or in this case, as this guy sees me, but then I turn on this cannon so that he'll climb the ladder and get shot. Though I did notice a mistake when I was doing this run. I'm not supposed to be pushing this right now. So I thought that I fell off and started pushing a box. But I actually still was where I needed to be, but that's kind of the problem with Blindfolded. When something goes wrong, when you hear something you're not expecting, you don't really know what's going on. It's hard to adjust. But that's why sometimes I do things like, if you hear me you see me punching that chicken there, it guarantees, okay, I am where I am, because if I punch down and I heard me punching a block, I knew I'd be in the wrong place. So sometimes I can put things like that in so I know that where I am on my route. Because I kind of have to follow the route closely to know what I'm doing. But luckily, none of the routes are too hard in this game. There's some mistakes here and there through this run, but there's very few because there's no RNG in this game at all. Absolutely none. So it's entirely a matter of execution whether I beat any given level. And none of them are too hard to execute either. The strats are pretty good, and the routes I've created are very consistent for each level. So for example, I need to get these two guys to die, so I grab this cannon, I throw it at them, and it shoots both of them. Another interesting thing that I account for the route is that whenever you collect enough money, this cutscene plays and the music doesn't start playing again until the end of the cycle. So I choose to pass the cycle so I can get the music back, so I can count. I count on beat 3, 6, and 9 in order to get over here, because I need the music to actually know when to jump. And another thing that can be useful is sometimes you want to pass turns, because now this guy, well, if I walked to the left, he'd just come and shoot me. So I'm going to pass a cycle, because during that time, he's going to go up this ladder, and that lets me then jump, just go right past him and get all the way to the goal. And it's a lot of that, a lot of AI manipulation, a lot of moving things around to make sure they're where I want them to be. So there's a lot of different mechanics. So that level introduced the Gatling gun, the previous level introduced the chickens, and this introduced the vaults. So there's these gear blocks that you cannot pass until you hit this switch. So I need to open it by pressing the switch. But I'm actually not going to press it immediately in this level, because as soon as I open the vault, there are guards inside the vault who will notice that I'm there, and I don't want them to know that I'm there. So what I do is I carry the switch up here, just so that they won't see me once I press the switch. So I wait a cycle, because now these two guys are going to leave the cage, and now it's not a problem at all. Now I can just jump in the cage. And there's a lot of sound effects and audio cues in this game too. So for example, there's a sound when you land from a big jump, and I use that to know, okay, I've hit the ground, let me turn around and get the money. Because another thing about this level that makes it tricky for Blindfolded is the time limit. Each level has a time limit that you have to beat the level within. So if I dilly-dally too much, then I can't beat the level in time. Another AI manipulation here, I want to shoot those blocks in order to get out, but if I shot earlier, then that guy, you can see, hears me, and he's like, oh, there's somebody shooting, but I wait until the start of the cycle, so I can use the full cycle to get to the horse, without him ever having to actually look for me. A lot of strategies like that. The cycles really build a lot of this game. It's like, what can I get done in one cycle, and how fast can I get how many things can I get done in one cycle to really optimize the time and get through as quickly as possible? Which makes the speedrun really interesting. Because it really does all come down to routing. What route can you create to get through the level that both gets you through the level consistently every time and is fast, right? You have to get both of those things, and it's hard to do that sometimes. So like sometimes I do need to do that. I need to pass the cycles. Maybe it loses a bit of time for the other alternative, but it's consistent because now that I waited the rest of that cycle, I can kill this guy immediately, and now none of the enemies should be a problem anymore. But there's a separate problem with this level, which kind of unique, which is the music. It's a weird rhythm, this track, and I have to count the rhythm in order to actually play the game properly. So I can't beat count very easily in the version of this guy's song that where the guys aren't chasing you. So there's a little thing in the music you'll hear that I jump to. Da da da. I jump there. Da da da. Da. And I don't do anything there. Da. Two jump stop. And like I'm using this little bit of the melody in the background as a music cue to tell me when to jump, when to do various actions, so that I can get through it. Which it was pretty hard to get to that, but the music cue ends up being a very useful technique here. Now this is an interesting level because we have to make our way up to the train, but there's no like ladder or stairs, so we have to make our own way up.
We'll be fine. Yeah, I'm fine.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these boxes in that barrel and use it to make a staircase to the top. I'm going to break out and do that. There's a lot of ways to do it. I originally had a harder route that went all the way to the edge, but I could make this route from the start instead, where I move this barrel over, and I'm also using the barrel push as a sound cue. So I push it 4 times, and now I know it's in place, even though I'm blindfolded. And I can pick up this box, and I'm going to place this box on top of the barrel, and then I'm going to place 2 more boxes up top so that I can get to the top of the train. It's a really tricky level, and it was really hard to route. It looks kind of simple, but this is a lot harder than it looks, the route for this level. At least creating it. It went from one of the hardest levels to the easiest when I rerouted it.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
So yeah, I'm going to pick up this box. Again, I use the audio cue of me pushing the box to know that I'm against it, so I can pick it up and make sure I still hit all the cycles that I know that I want to make, so I can beat as fast as possible. So now I can punch out the ceiling. Again, part of the really interesting thing about the immersive sim aspect of this game is that so much of the environment is breakable, so you can make your own path through the level. If you look through casual playthroughs of this game, there's so many ways to get through each level, so many creative strategies. And there we go. And now I'm on the 10th level, and now we introduce a new mechanic where you have 2 characters. You have to control 2 characters where each one takes a different turn. And this is actually really tricky because of the fact you're still on a timer. So you have a very limited amount of time with each character where they each have to get things done. So what I'm doing is I'm having this guy get in place so that when I press the switch, he can get the money behind the vault, and then this guy will get the money from the top. And I'm pressing this over because I need to get on this ladder. And like I said, it's hard to place yourself exactly in a spot where you can get up the ladder on a beat count. So I make this into a wall that I can normalize on. So basically, as soon as I want to go up on the next cycle, I just press up, and that makes it a lot easier. Ladders are one of the hardest things to deal with in this game, believe it or not, when you're playing blindfolded, because there's no sound cues at all associated with these ladders. So now, yeah, one other thing you may notice here is that they didn't notice me because I got on a barrel, which presents another interesting strategy you can do with many levels. The lawman won't see you if you're inside a barrel and you're standing still.
Okay, good.
So I place him in place so that he can just go. The horse spawns on the right side on this map. So this guy's about to get the second money box. There's 2 money boxes in this level you have to get. That's also a thing with some levels. So these 2 have to work together, and that is part of the trickiness of routing this game, is you have to deal with the fact there's 2 different partners. And another thing that makes that tricky is that you have to hide for 2 cycles because because the lawmen get to take every turn while you only get 1 turn at a time with each character. So they alternate. That makes it tricky to route.
onto barrel.
Now, and this level is very interesting in that there's actually no money boxes. Instead, there's just barrels. And there's a lot of barrels in this level. They're everywhere. And 2 of them contain money. So we have to find the 2 money crates. Luckily, it's not RNG. We know exactly where the money crates are going to be because, you know exactly where the money crates are going to be because it's set in stone. There's no RNG. So we just have to make our way to them. That makes it not too hard. That beginning part can be a little tricky to make sure you can get that money without being dodged. Another thing that made this level easy is you may notice at the very start of this level, I threw a barrel to the left. This affected the AI because it made that guy in the very bottom go down and not follow me. So now there's nobody on this part of the train, so I'm completely safe to just stick here, and I'm passing until that guy goes down the ladder so that I can get a free trip to the second barrel with money in it. I found one at the start, the second one's in here. Because it's all RNG, this is harder to do casually than Blindfolded because you have to find the barrels. But if I'm routing Blindfolded, I already know where they are. So I just have to make a route there. It's not too bad. And then I just beat my way to the end. I jump up to beat 6 and beat 11. You'll notice it's a lot through the run that I'm counting. If you listen to my original commentary, I'm counting to the beat of the music so I know exactly when to jump or when to punch or when to do whatever. And this level, now on to level 12, introduces another new mechanic, which is this cow. This is a cow. What the mechanic with the cow is whenever it hears a gunshot, it gets spooked and it runs forward, crushing everything in its path. Luckily, then we need that in order to get into this vault. So we, well, just do that. We got him into the vault. But now I have a problem, which is these 2 lawmen. I need to be able to make it past them without this. So if you may notice, I dug myself into a hole at the start of the level. Parts of the cow ran over me, but also because I triggered a gunshot at that specific location, causes them to run towards me like, oh, where'd the gunshot come from? And then they jump into the hole and die. I fire another shot here because that guy de-aggroed. He's like, huh, must have been the wind. Then he hears another gunshot and he's like, oh, I need to follow it, and then he falls into the hole and dies. Again, there's a lot of routing the level, finding the best way to get through the enemies, whether that be stunning them or killing them, or just making use of their cycles. There's many different ways to get past them, and it's finding those ways that makes this game so fun. On to next level rescue mission. So this one we don't actually have to collect any money. You may notice right at the very start, one of our player characters is inside a cage, inside a vault, and we need to, well, save him. There's no money. All we have to do is click that switch to get him out, and then the horse will come and we have to get out. So notice I just shot this guy at the top. This triggers a lot of guards to be like, huh, where did that gunshot come from? And they all investigate. And eventually, part of the reason I'm sticking here is that part of the great thing about firing that shot exactly where I did is that all 4 of these guys are going to go down to the bottom. Like, I'm right behind him, but he's not going to turn around. They're all going to go into this bottom right, like, area so that they don't become a problem anymore. Well, or they will a bit later, but you will see. So, now they're all down here. I don't have to deal with them. And there's only this one guy, but he's not a problem because he's not tall enough to see me. So now that I rescued, I have to get both of them out. Now that we've rescued our character. This is Brand. Brand is this guy. Maria's the girl, and I can't remember the other one's name off the top of my head. He jumps over here, and now I need to bring both of them to the end. The problem is that another interesting thing is that the characters have different music for each character you play as, which means I have to beat count a little differently for each character. And, oh, I messed up a jump there. I heard a landing noise, which means I fell too far, which means I landed. I have to redo this level because that messes up my route. I don't have a backup for that, though, of course, if I do a marathon, I'll try to make as many backups as I can. This has been very recently completed, as of, like, about 2 weeks ago, is when I first finished beating this game blindfolded. So I'm sure there's going to be many more consistent... First of all, I think the strats are already very consistent, but I might be able to make even more consistent, even faster strats by the time the marathon comes around. So... Again, following the same route again, because the fact that there's no RNG, everything's consistent, it makes just a level of executing the route. I did a mistiming for a jump, and that suddenly affected the route there. And notice I used the pushing of that gun as a sound effect to know, okay, now I can move left, pick it up, and do what I need to do. So yeah, I'm trading this bridge in order to get over there super easy. And yeah, I need to punch through the wall in order to actually get to where the horse is. The horse is always our goal, as you may be able to tell. And the horse only appears once you've done the goal for each level. You usually get the money, though like in this level, it's when you rescue the guy because you open the cage. And in this case, yeah, that's what I do to get past him. I just run down, because another interesting thing about this game, and you'll see this abuse a little bit later,
but I still did it.
is that the gunmen, if you are in their line of sight, but there's another guy in between...
I
did the wrong route for this level again. If they see you, but there's another guy in the middle, they don't care. They will fire their gun anyway. And sometimes this means they'll kill their teammates, which is something I abused there. The guy who saw me fired his gun and killed another guy, but now I'm free because the ones that could see me don't have either are dead or already fired their bullets. Here's another case where I fired my gun here in this corner to get all the enemies where I want them to be, so I can kill all 3 of these guys. And now none of them are a problem anymore. There's also many power-ups. I don't use very much of the power-ups throughout the speedrun. They're much more for the casual than anything else. But this level has a very interesting power-up called Super Punch. So you may notice I have to punch each wall multiple times to break them, not with Super Punch. And not only that, you can kill people by punching them. Usually it just stuns them, but with Super Punch you can just kill them in one punch, which is extremely convenient for this level because it's a very long level. There's a lot of guys, and this lets us just get through it a lot more easily. Okay. And there's a lot of guys guarding the money box over there. But again, my route, because of the cycles, they're both facing to the left, so I can just jump to the right of them and kill these 2 guys very easily by just punching them. It's also worth knowing another reason Super Punch really comes in handy here is that you're low on bullets each level. You usually only have like 2 or 3 bullets per level, unless a level has extra bullets in one of the power-ups, kind of like the Super Punch. So the Super Punch does come in handy because it lets me preserve bullets, or rather, in this level, it let me use my bullets at the start of the level in order to lure the guys to a place I needed them before I even had Super Punch. It ended up working out very well. Now, another interesting thing is that, in this case, I could jump to the end, but again, I'm trying to do some of the most consistent strats I can, and in this case, well, I just need to push this barrel, because here's the problem. You may notice I had to create that hole at the start. That creates a hole that I can fall into and die. So I'm pushing the barrel here. There's a little bit of land, so that it can't stop, and therefore I don't fall off and die. Just good, consistent strats that end up letting me get through the level every time, as long as I do it consistently, which these strats are very consistent.
For real this time.
Those 2 deaths earlier are the only major deaths in the run. There's like 1 more death that is into a level, but it wasn't too far in. So again, I stunned that enemy. Luckily, he can't get to me by this cycle if he saw me or not, so I can just get past him. This is another one. This guy sees me, but I was not within his gun range, so he didn't shoot me. So here's what I do, which is very funny. We lure this guy off the train, and then we punch. There's an auto punch. If somebody passes you, you just punch them, and then I punch him onto the tracks. So this level, the goal is not to get money. It's actually to get bullets. We're trying to max out on bullets because in the story of the game, we are running low on ammo, so we're getting a bunch more. We are doing a resupply, which is the name of the level. There's another cow here. We're gonna use this guy to let us get to the end easy. And I can both shoot this guy and trigger the cow at the same time for double effect. The cow actually kills a lot of people, which is very funny. This game can be very funny in just... It's almost like ragdolls in 3D games, in that your characters just get thrown everywhere when they die. And it can create some very funny effects, like there with the cow, when you play this game casually. And now the cows is gonna break this, and I can just go straight to the hole.
Armored up next. This is the hard one.
So yeah, this next level is probably the hardest in the game, armored up. It's extremely hard because you can't really use your bullets. So we're gonna pick up a power up called explosive bullets. That let us break these more easily. We don't have enough bullets to break them with punches or with our shots. So I have to pick that up, and I basically have to use 3 bullets for that, so I have to do this level without bullets. That means I have to find a way to get rid of the enemies to make them not a problem. So here's what my route does. There's a mechanic in this game where if I block a ladder, they cannot get me. They cannot actually climb up. So what I did is I now have blocked these 2 ladders so that these 2 people do not get in my way. And they are a massive problem, because if I can't kill them, then how am I supposed to get around them for how long this level is, like every single cycle? So what I do is I block those 2 ladders to make it so they can never get to me, and I can not exactly take my time. I still have to beat the level within the time limit, and it's not easy to do so. But it gives me more freedom for routing. It lets me not have to play around them, but rather just, as you see, he just goes back up to the ladder because it's blocked. It gives me more freedom to do what I need to do. It gives me more options, rather. So that, and I've killed the guys that actually do get in the way. But now, this level, I've gotten to the easy part. Blocking the ladders is pretty hard while blindfolded, because it's hard to throw them at the right time in order to block them. But they're not a problem. Even though that guy saw me standing where I was, doesn't matter because he can't get to me. Same with this guy. He'll see me pretty, well, I don't know if he actually sees me next cycle, but they do like to see me, but they can't do anything because I blocked their way of getting to me. Got a lot of AI manipulation throughout this run. Blocking ladders is a very powerful strat. Unfortunately, it's not very applicable in Blindfolded, because if it's hard to get to a ladder to climb it, it's hard to place something by a ladder. It was very hard. This level took me the longest to route by far, but once I did, my route is very good. And I was able to beat this on my first try in this run. And because ladders are a problem, I'm doing a similar thing to what I did in Daring Duos. I'm pushing this block to the side so that I can just get straight on the ladder and not have to time my way under it. As you see, I've used now the final bullet, and now I'm at the end. I had to use all 3 in order to break these walls, because the entire level has these metal blocks that you can't just punch. Well, you can, as you'll see in level 19, but it takes like 40 punches to break them, which takes way too much time. I get pretty close to the time limit with this level because it's so hard. It's so difficult to create a route for this level. But I was able to get through it first try.
Powder keg time.
Next level, so you may notice sometimes you may notice dynamite. This is the dynamite level. This is where there's just dynamite everywhere. There I messed up because I thought I was on top of them, but I was not. So I just reset by punching, because I was close enough to the start. So yeah, I'm breaking open, again, like the explosive rounds. I can blow that up with dynamite. And this has a purpose. This guy on the right, so I blow up this guy. The guy on the left is about to kill himself by jumping off. You'll hear a little ding sound. There he is. He just killed himself, but that's fine. Now these 2 guys aren't a problem anymore. So I can jump over these pits. And now the money box is inside of this cage. So I blow that up and I duck so this guy doesn't see me. So he comes after me, and then I load my gun to turn around and fire at him. Now he's not a problem anymore. None of the other guys are going to be problems anymore. So I can just go straight to the money box and get the money and exit the level.
2, 3, 4, 5.
But now I've created a pathway with a lot of pits on the way back. So I have to be careful. I have to make another beat count in order to make sure that I could get through, especially that big pit to the left side of the screen. So I jump, I think it's 1, 2, 5, 8, 10, 14. There's a lot of times to jump, and but I made it past them.
13, 14. Alright.
Now the next level within the lore of the game is supposed to be like a trap level. It's a very easy level on purpose, despite being the 3rd to last level in the game. Because it's just, there's a switch, when you hit the switch, those 3 lawmen die. It's a trap. But it's like, okay, well, yeah, it's an easy level. There's not very much else to it. So it ends up being pretty easy to. It's a pretty easy level after a lot of the last levels are very difficult. This is a very easy level. But in the lore of the game, while this is happening, the lawmen are destroying your hideout. Like the sheriff made a plan to destroy your hideout and your mentor. So this is going on. We're doing an easy level, but while it's happening, there's a cutscene after this level where you'll see that, well, you won't see because it'll go pretty quick, but they blow up our base, they kill our boss, the one who is all the text. Yeah. They killed Gran. So now, this level, we have to kill the sheriff. There's no money, we just have to kill the sheriff. And he's locked within a cage, so you can't get to him, because they know we're after him. But, remember how I said you can break iron blocks by punching them 20 times? Or 40 times? Well, here's that. We're gonna get in here just by punching this. And by the way, this is a duo level, but this guy only needed to do one thing, and that was kill one guard. Now that he's killed the one guard, well, he's not really gonna do anything. He's just gonna wait until the sheriff's dead, and then take a ride away. So yeah, it takes a long time to destroy these blocks, but it made for the most consistent route through this level. But here's the problem. If I fire at this guy, then the other guy will notice. So, what I do is I want him to kill his buddy. So I punch him, I punch him, I punch the sheriff back, and now, as soon as the turn starts, he's gonna turn around and kill the sheriff. There we go. So, they killed the sheriff for me. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that fun? So, and then he's gonna come and try to punch me, but luckily, every AI only has one bullet. So he stuns me, but whatever. As soon as I get out of stun, I kill him. And now I have to break my way back out of the cage because I can't jump high enough to get off. So it's going to be some more of this. But now the lawman's dead, I don't have to take turns with the other guy anymore. That lets me use all my time with this guy, with Brand. Again, he just has to punch his way out, but the rest levels are pretty. But those guys, oh, they're a problem because they're about to come down this ladder and come get me. So what I do, I need to pick up this cannon and just turn around. Because as soon as they come down the ladder, they're both gonna die because they're gonna get shot by the cannon.
This is the run. 2, 3, 4.
And then this guy's also a problem, so I'm gonna shoot him. You may think the guy above would become a problem, but he actually goes to the right. He's like, oh, the gunshot came to the right. Doesn't realize, now he comes down the ladder, but now, well, he can't shoot me while he's on a ladder, so it doesn't matter that he saw me. I'm just hightailing it out of here. And there we go.
Alright.
Again, very tight level, but the route was
level.
very consistent. And now we're on to the final level, the final score. So this level has a bunch of the gimmicks in it. There's the cow, which again we need to use. So we kill him. But again, the cow also creates a problem. Because if the cow hears a second gunshot, he will destroy the vault where the money is. And if the money goes away, then, well, we can't actually beat the level. We have to get all of the money. So I messed up. I'm supposed to punch this guy to stun him, but I messed up my timing. But that should be the... Oh yeah, at this point, I'm supposed to start the level holding right. I was accidentally jumped, and then I think I did it at a second time.
Oh my god.
That messes up my timing, so I just restart. Because I have to restart, because I have to make sure everything's on the cycle. But luckily, it wasn't too hard to reset. So do this again. I move up here. This both lets me shoot this guy, and gives me the cow as a platform to get higher up. I also can get in this barrel. Let's make sure that they don't see me, because they're going to come towards the gunshot, but they won't see me in the barrel, which means I can just hide. And this guy comes over here, stuns this guy so he doesn't get in my way, and then I jump up here, and I duck so nobody else sees me.
Okay. I think I got it this time.
And she passed her turn because she doesn't really have a good way to get where she needs to, and she'll get seen by somebody else if she did anything. Now, I move this guy over, and I nudge a bit to the right. Again, I'm trying to get on the ladder, so I'm nudging myself over a little bit. I know just how many times to nudge myself to do this, so that I can start the next cycle just by holding up, and I'll be on top of the ladder. Again, made it a bit more consistent.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
So yeah, now, she also uses the cage get up, so up in there is where all the money is. It's like a big vault. So, but he has to get to the switch, which is on top of the train. So I beat count my way here. It's 1, 4, 7, 10. In order to get up here, I press the switch,
Okay.
and now Maria can get in and get all the money. So again, this is a bit of teamwork where he has to get to the switch so she can get in the vault.
Good. Okay.
And we're approaching the end of the gun. There's 4 money boxes in this level. Luckily, they're not too hard to get at this point. And now, he has to use the switch a second time to make sure that opens. There's 2 layers to this vault. But now his job is basically done for this level. It's just getting Maria to get all the money so we can beat the level.
Okay. 1, 3, 6, 7, 8. I know the beat count. This one isn't hard to remember.
So yeah, he just passes because he needs to wait till the horse arrives when I actually get all the money for him to get out. But yeah, luckily this guy just doesn't ever face me. This game's no RNG. I know he's always going to go that way, so I can keep my routes with that in mind.
All right.
So there's Brand on the horse ready to collect us
Not much
both.
to left mess up now. This
He
might
just
be
has to
sub
jump to the
40.
right. And funny, you may think, does Maria have to get out of this cage? Actually, she doesn't. Funny enough.
Okay.
Well, she does have to get out of the cage, but she can actually jump down this hole and just roll, and she gets magnetized onto
Alright,
the
that's
horse,
definitely
and I
PB.
beat the game. That is Rail Heist Blindfolded. So,
Let's go.
I hope you would accept
Whoa,
me
good
to
run,
your
good
marathon. It's a
run.
great run. It's really fun.
Alright,
A lot of
alright.
interesting strategies. And it's not too hard to do blindfolded.
Oh,
it's
that's good.
pretty
I really
consistent.
Hope it's sub 40, please.
Yeah, that's my run. And I hope you have a good day.